Weathering and erosion. This is both weathering and erosion because the flower is weathering and because the biosphere is affecting the geosphere.
The biosphere is affecting the geosphere because the flower is growing out of the rock and creating cracks in it.
The tree is weathering because the branches is falling off and the tree is falling out the ground and roots.
The wind is blowing the tree out of the ground and it's blowing the branches off it.
The rock is both weathering and erosion because the water is moving the rock and also dissolving it.
The water is taking tiny particles off the rock and making it smaller.
The rock and the tree are weathering because when it rains, it's weathering down.
The rain is making the rocks and the trees go smaller because it's taking tiny particles off them.
The island is weathering away because the water is going to the island and weathering it down.
And the water is taking off pieces of the island and moving it to somewhere else to make another island.
The wind is erosioning the house, so it took the house somewhere else, so it erodes.
The wind was powerful and it blew the house out of the ground and then the house started going away.
The rock was weathered away by the snow.
The snow turned into water when it melted and it took little particles off the rocks.
The rock was weathered away by the water.
The water broke the rock down into little pieces.
The house was eroded by the wind to another location.
The wind blew the house far away from where it went, and then it became at another place.
The tree is weathering and erosion because the rock got there by the wind.
The tree grew because the rock was going through the water, and then it got some water on the grass, and then the tree grew.
The rock is erosioning because when it rained, it got watered in and makes it go to another location.
The water pushes it out of where it was, and then it pushes it to another place.
The water erodes the rock, so it goes to another location.
Ada, Daviana, Suzanne, Ashley, and BJ. In this picture, it is lightning the side. Just because of the rain, it broke the sidewalk. It made the tree crooked, broke the tree, and the lightning hit the satellite dish that made Jada's electric go out. In this picture, there is mountains that cracked because of the wind and erosion. In this picture, there is a gate around the ocean, and it's a sunny day. And the rain made the gate rust. In this picture, there is a lots of wind and water that made the rocks crack. In this picture, it's raining and it made the rocks look like little tiny eggs. And the rocks cracked because of the hail and water and the snow. In this picture, there was a rock on top of the mountains. Then it rained and made the rock go in the ocean and cracked. In this picture, there is weathering and erosion. It's raining and it made the rocks crack and it was on land. This is weathering because it made the sidewalk crack and it was a sunny day and it was raining.
Before and After Edition by Tammy, Anton, Hazel, Jefferson, and Khalil. Our first picture talks about a canyon that had been weathered. Then later, when the agent of erosion came, it broke down and the canyon and the pieces that were eroded, broken down, deposited to another place.
The next picture talks about before and after on a beach. The sand on the beach were much till the water came and took the sand in the water.
Next, a big rock under water broke down into small pieces because of the water. This process took time. Another rock in the water was breaking down, and in 10 years the rock broke down completely. The water was hitting the rocks. Then, I made a mistake. Then 10 years later, the rocks had a lot of cracks in it. The next picture talks about a place where it always rained. Then one day the road cracked. Next, a volcano erupted and some rocks broke down off the volcano, and the lava eroded it and deposited it to another place. The second to the last picture talks about lightning that struck a rock with two houses on the rock. The two houses with the rock fell down and deposited somewhere else. The last picture talks about a road that was cracked because of an earthquake.
Are doing Weathering and Erosion by Alexander, Nikayla, Stephen, Jakai, and Stevie. And we have a house on top of rocks, and the rocks are turning into tiny pieces. In the second picture, there was a flood and the waves crashed into the rocks and they turned into tiny pieces and went into the ocean. On the third picture, the house is breaking down by the waves hitting into the house. By years, it is breaking down. On the fourth picture, the cause of the water on the rocks is making it break down, and gravity makes it go to the bottom of the ocean. On the fifth picture, the ice is freezing in the rock, and the particles on the rock are slowly breaking down until it breaks down all. The way and all are in or on top of the ocean.
On the sixth picture, weathering is breaking down the rocks over the years, and the erosion moving the house down to the ocean, and gravity helps it.
The lightning is breaking down the rock, and soon the rocks particles will be small and the rock will weather somewhere else.
In the last picture, the rock is safe. Then the wind makes the rock move, and the way in the ocean.
By Marco, Ashal, Gyro, and Favor. The first picture is when the rock breaks because it has been raining all day. The second picture is when the rock breaks the more because of the flood. Then the flood broke the rock the more. The third picture is when the rock gets big because the water went down, so it got all that stuff. The fourth picture is when the rock breaks because there's a thunder, so the thunder broke it down. The fifth picture is when the rock changes color because there's a chemical change because of the rain and stuff.
You can see that the rock changes color to brownish, greenish, yellowish, and blackish. It is weathering because it was raining all day and the rain went into the rock and made it change color. Now you can see that the rock has big cracks because of lightning. The lightning hit it right there, and now look down at the picture and see that the sand changed to water. Now you can see that the rock is breaking down. That is called decomposition because decomposition breaks things down, like rocks. Decomposition. Now you can see that the rock has broken into two pieces. That is called erosion because the water is making it move. Now you can see that the rock is Now you can see the rock is in three pieces because of weathering, erosion, and decomposition.
By Serenity, Aiden, Ali, Evely, and Miriam. In the first picture, the volcano is erupting and the lava is breaking the road. In the second picture, the volcano is shaking and the rocks are falling and the water is washing them away. In the third picture, the wind is blowing in two different directions and is blowing the dirt to both sides. In the fourth picture, the rocks are getting blown the other different ways while the wind is blowing. In the last picture, there are rocks in the water. It starts from big and then it gets smaller.